Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here today to talk with some students and teacher coordinator, Dr. Valerie Grimley, about this year's Senior Honors Project at the Santa Fe Indian School. I'm Jennifer Guerin. I'm the librarian here at SFIS, and I'm really excited about this conversation. We've got a symposium coming up on May 14th, 2021 at 10 a.m. Our SHP students will open up their websites and presentations for staff and students and the public to view. So what we wanted to do today was have a little conversation to let folks know what they can expect and to feature some of our fabulous students and their work from this semester. So I have with me here today Dr. Valerie Grimley from Cochiti Pueblo in the Navajo Nation. Hi, Dr. Grimley.
Hi.
Hi. And Kylie Dashno from Santa Clara Pueblo. Hi, Kylie.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for being here. And Zachary Valencia from San Felipe Pueblo. Hi, Zach.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for coming. You guys are awesome. So I wanted to start this session by asking you, Dr. Grimley, if you don't mind, to talk a little bit about what it feels like to teach a senior research class remotely during the second semester of the COVID-19 school closure. And then maybe to share a little bit about the topics that the students have chosen this semester, how they're a little different from those you've seen in the past.
Okay. So this semester is a little bit different from the first semester. The first semester was a asynchronous model where our students relied heavily on instructional videos and weekly check-ins for guidance and completing the assignments and completing their research. And this semester, we were fortunate to have classes, online classes. And so we moved to a synchronous model where we were able to have our classes through Google Meet or through Zoom. And for SHP, we met twice a week for 80 minutes each time. And it was an opportunity for myself to provide that instruction and to really have some enhance the engagement, I would say, and really provide our students some, samples and discussion that you can't have when it's not face to face or when it's not online. And so it was an opportunity for me as well to see what I wanted to change from the first semester in my delivery of lessons and how to make those improvements to help our students learn through distance learning, through remote learning. And so, we have really different topics this semester from the first, and it's really exciting. We have a lot of students who've chosen topics surrounding the pandemic and COVID-19's effect on student athletes, on tradition and culture, on language. We have some topics on tribal seed sovereignty. And I think one of the most interesting things that's come about this semester are the action plans and really, our students holding themselves accountable and making sure they're bringing positive change to the issue within their topic. And so we've had a variety of, we had to get really creative. And so we have a variety of different ways in which they completed that. And, the purpose of that assignment is to bring positive change to the issue. And so we had some digital fun runs. We had mental health workshops partnering with the counseling department at Santa Fe Indian School. We also had some focus groups and focus groups that included using Zoom as a platform, that included families visiting within each other's, it's a bigger family, but small families joining on a Zoom. And I was able to participate in some of those. And it was really nice because it's a time where a lot of these families from different households can't come together. And they were able to through Zoom. And we had some really cool interactions. So Another one to highlight is cooking. So we had a cooking evening where elder women were able to share recipes, traditional recipes with children, and it was really neat. So really different from the first semester, but really cool and very creative. I really need to recognize our students for both semesters because we had to be creative with many of the community restrictions. It was really
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, it almost sounds like as the pandemic has gone on and people have settled into the model of education and gotten used to it, maybe students and families are feeling more comfortable reaching out, doing things differently, knowing what their options are, and that really stretched the action plans and the ways people interacted. That's great. Cool. Well, looking forward to the presentations for sure and hearing more. Um, I wanted to turn to you seniors for a couple minutes and give you guys a chance to let people know about your fascinating topics, and also a little bit about how you decided to choose them for your areas of focus. So maybe I can start with you, Kylie. Your topic has to do with mental health and teens during the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you talk a little bit about your own motivation and process for choosing that as your focus?
Yeah, well, I know throughout the year it's been tough on a lot of teens, especially the ones from last year who were unable to attend graduation and prom, things like that. And it had a really big toll on them. From some of my conversation logs, I was able to hear that from them personally, as well as some younger kids in the elementary who just kind of told me how this whole pandemic has impacted their lives and the way their perspective on the world. I also chose this topic due to the fact that I also struggle with some mental health disorders, and it helped. And I was wanting to see where other students and teens and youth stood with during this time. And I also have a really big interest in the psychology fields, which is just something I'm going into. And this topic, or this whole SHP, just really helped me see what I want to go into, which is that childhood psychology, because I think the developmental stages of a child's brain is really the most important time in their whole life, really. So that was really what made me choose this topic.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, it really seems like a gift to have a student who's able to take all those strands of your life story, what's happening in the world, what other people are going through, and put that together into a research project. I mean, I really want to applaud you for that. And it sounds like you approached your research with a lot of compassion. I really, I'm excited to see how people shared their stories with you and how you were able to process that information. So great job. Thank you. And how about you, Zachary? So you're approaching a topic that is not traditionally tackled by our male students at Santa Fe Indian School. You're talking about women's roles and perceptions of women's roles. I'm wondering if you could kind of describe your topic, through your own eyes, and how and why you decided to study that.
Well, the way I came about this topic was pretty much simple, I guess. I come from a family of 4 women. I only have one brother, and I lost my dad at an early age, so I kind of grew up in a more of like a woman's household, I would say. So I was really able to kind of see and experience at the same time what they went through, not only outside in the public, but here in the Pueblo. I guess I would say really mainly the stereotypes that Native women face is really what I guess pushed me to go into this topic. talking to my older sister, she would mention a lot how like I don't know how to explain it. She's like in touch with both her masculine and feminine side in a way. So she's like, she doesn't really kind of sit back and let stuff be told to her. I guess if that makes sense. She's kind of more of a woman, but well, both her and my mom are the kind of women to like stand up for themselves and I guess speak up when a lot of others are afraid to. So that kind of, or I don't know, it really made me wonder why women were so afraid to speak in my Pueblo from my perspective. Because the way I see it, like the men here, yes, I get that they have such a big role and the way they go about the Pueblo, all the things they do to take care of the Pueblo. And yeah, I don't know. I wanted to go into to dive into it more and I guess see how women could eventually, I guess, tie into taking care of the Pueblo as well, or even at least having a say. Because as far as I know, the board here in San Felipe, it's contains of all men. There's like really no way that a woman could make her way up to get into the board. And the board is really like, I guess they make a lot of the big decisions for the Pueblo and for the people. So I don't know, the way I saw it was it really isn't fair to women if they don't have someone there to speak up for them.
Thank you for sharing that story and that intro to your research. I'm actually curious, did you talk to your family about your choice of topic before you declared the topic? Did they kind of know you were going to approach this? Were they there to support your choice?
I did actually, and it surprised me because the older, I guess the, not to be rude or anything, but the older side of the family, they were like more hesitant. They weren't really open on the topic, or like even open to speak about it, I guess, because in their words, they really didn't want to offend anyone here in the Pueblo. So it was really, I guess, hard to get their side of or like their input. Yeah.
Right. Which also, makes your research a brave choice. And I think researchers do go through that a lot when they're pushing any kind of limits or boundaries. And I'm sure you handled it with extreme sensitivity, and I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. What was it like, Dr. Grimley, to work with these two students in particular on these topics? For you to witness their growth and their research as they went along?
Well, these two students are definitely independent students, and I think they had a clear vision for their project. And so, in doing that, one of the things, it is a little bit of an advantage when you're taking it second semester, but it's also not, because as students of SFIS, this is coming up. And you are aware that SHP is a requirement for graduation. And so I'm sure many students, including Kylie and Zach, have had an idea of what they've been thinking about of doing, what topic they would choose. And so it's been, in my experience in the last 3 years, it's been really interesting to see how many students have known from maybe freshman year what exactly they're going to do. And it really gives you some, reassurance that this positive change we're seeking is really in the hands of our young adults. And when they're passionate about their topic, they make waves. And SHP is a class that doesn't have a set ceiling for our students. Students can present their information in the way they choose to, and students can choose the topic they're most passionate about, which is great. It's not, an assigned research topic chosen for them. And so in that lens, many of our students are driven and motivated. I did see a little, trouble with motivation being distance learning, but it wasn't something we couldn't work past, as one of our core values is perseverance. It was practiced and preached in class pretty often. So, these two students really took it upon themselves to get their project together and to really seek out the resources to complete it.
Yeah, that seems like a good opening to actually ask you guys as students how this remote learning model worked for you. I know that, people who are outside the school environment often make assumptions that it's either it's really easy or it's really hard, or, how it's working for students is probably really different case by case. So I would love to hear, like, Kylie, how did remote learning and remote research go for you?
Well, I personally really enjoyed the whole distant learning because I think I'm a fast learner and I can adapt to new things right away. So this was something I was easily able to adapt to. And my topic was really helped me go along with this because I had to focus on my mental health as well as everybody else's. And just being able to make sure I'm not stressing myself out with too much and making sure I have like a set schedule of everything was really something that was key to doing this my whole project and my whole class, all my classes in general. So I think I really enjoyed this. I found it a lot easier and I was able to go at my own speed, sometimes faster, sometimes slower, depending on how the week went. And it was just, I don't know, I found it really enjoyable, this whole distant learning, and it kind of made me a bit more independent from um, on how I'm supposed to learn, and it kind of made me a bit more college ready for next year. So yeah, I really like this whole distant learning.
Sounds like you really took advantage of not only the content of your research, but just the process of doing that research remotely to get yourself ready for the next phase of your life. That's really great to hear. I like it. Zach, was it a similarly like positive experience for you? Did you like doing your work from home and being able to do your research remotely, or what were the challenges or opportunities for you?
I'd say I'm kind of on the same boat as Kylie. I was able to adapt to it fast, though I was having a hard time in the first semester. And then the second semester, I was really able to, I guess, get used to it. Um, there wasn't really any negative things I got from it, I guess. It was it was nice. Yeah, I liked it. I'm not really an outgoing person, so I enjoyed doing school at home.
That's good to hear. We miss you guys so much on campus, but I love hearing that it's working for people and that you were able to adapt. That's great. So I wanted to turn for a couple minutes to the content of both of your projects for a little bit and ask you, I guess I'll start again with you, Kylie, about your research and kind of for you, what were some of the more interesting issues and findings that you came across when you looked into teens and mental health in this time, and particularly in this time that we're living through, maybe that have to do with like social justice and activism and Indigenous youth? What do you want to share with the audience about your research?
Well, throughout my research, I found that a lot of my peers were interested in the whole social justice movements going on, such as the George Floyd case that just closed recently, and then the Stop Asian Hate, all those type of things. I was also able to see that what they thought about these type of things going on across the world, and I found out that a lot of my peers were like doing their own investigating and seeing what else is happening across the world, and not just in America, but like in other countries such as Japan, where they were going through their own personal or their own thing with their social justice as well. I also found that a lot of my peers were interested in the whole climate change with the just how all the icebergs are melting a lot now, and the earth is warming up, how the sea levels are rising, all the fires that happened. I was really interested by the fact that some of the younger kids that I had interviewed knew about the Amazon rainforest burning, and that was something that I guess the older people I interviewed didn't really mention because it wasn't, I guess I would say, not to offend anyone, but unimportant to them, less important to them. And I found that a lot of younger kids were more interested in the climate, how the world's warming up and how that affects them compared to how the older people thought about it as well. I also was able to see that some kids were actually interested in the whole economic impact we've had as well, such as when the stock market went down in last year. I didn't even know about that, and I found out that a lot of my peers were interested in that as well. So I was able to see more than just how COVID-19 affected them, but as to where other events happening throughout the year had impacted them and the way they thought of the world and what to expect from it. So it was really interesting to see that a lot of kids were focusing on other things other than just what the main aspect that was like on the news. There was way more than I knew myself.
Yeah. It's interesting if I'm hearing you correctly, like it's almost like being in quarantine, people's perspectives in some ways, young people's perspectives expanded. We became really aware and involved, probably through social media, right? Through of what was going on with other issues
Yeah.
around the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I was talking with I've interviewed kids starting from elementary to middle school to high school to college even, and it was especially the younger ones that really shocked me because they said that they spent a lot of time with like the grandparents who were really interested in the news. So that's where they received a lot of their information, and it was just really cool to see how interested they were in the world right now.
Yeah. And I guess one more follow-up question on that. So it also sounds from what you're saying, like, even though that news was intense and it was heavy and there's a lot of really serious stuff going on, learning about that wasn't necessarily a negative, didn't necessarily have a negative impact on young people's mental health. Like their activism was a positive thing, even though the issues were also very heavy. Is that,
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, I was able to see like they really worry about what their future's like because something I've learned throughout my project was that the children of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and that they really have that focus already as kids before they even reach the point of middle school, adulthood, things like that. So it was really nice to know that these children understand what the world's like and what the world's going through as of right now. So it was really cool. I was blown away.
It sounds like really powerful research, and yeah, good to know that young people are coming up informed and active. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Zachary, I've heard quite a bit through the grapevine and then in the beginning of this conversation, even from Dr. Grimley, about your action plan for your research. And so I wanted to ask you specifically if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about how you designed your action plan, how it went for you, and what were some of the kind of observations or good surprising things that came out of your action plan for SHP this year?
Well, the way I had it planned out was the way I had it planned out was I was gonna just leave it as an open room and go along and ask, or I was trying to focus on 2 questions that I was gonna ask and really get the perspective from everyone who was there. it really didn't go that way. I was actually proud about that because it was like, I don't know, it kind of, well, not kind of, it really caught a lot of other people's attention, I would say. There was our teacher, our English teacher, Miss McFadden. She was in the meeting, and when it was, I guess, her turn to talk, she had let us know about her, or she had someone sitting there with her, and when she let him speak, he really like, or I don't know, I guess what I got from him was, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering a lot. Okay, starting all over. He said, he had walked by her while the meeting was going, and something that one of the other speakers had talked about really caught his attention. So he really, or he said, I don't know, it was it was interesting because, and it wasn't only him, it was Miss Grimley as well. Her family, well, not her family, but her mom, she she ended up being a part of the meeting, which I wasn't expecting because, as we know, she's a security guard at the school. So hearing her talk, getting her perspective was, I don't know, it was different, and it was nice all in all, I guess. I was able to get the perspective of teachers, staff over at SFIS. I even got some perspective from one of my fellow students and her mom. So yeah, that was cool.
It sounds
Mm,
great. So it was a virtual conversation about women and stereotypes. Am I understanding that correctly?
yeah, yeah, pretty much. It like focused on a lot of different topics, not only the effects that women had here in the Pueblo, but I guess in the public in general.
Right.
Talked about Deb Holland a lot and like the effect she had, and from her, I guess, yeah, the that's where the conversation sparked off. It really, I don't know, yeah, it was like interesting.
It kind of took on a life of its own a little bit.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
That's nice when that happens. Did you want to add, Dr. Grimley, you were in that action plan, right? So
Yeah.
how was that?
It was really interesting because it like came full circle, and so it provided opportunity for all the people who were participating intentionally, and then who were just kind of like listening in the background, and then they ended up joining, including my mom. It made them really reflect on their role, and their role, whether they're male or female, in how, you know, we either feed into these stereotypes and biases, or in how we're shifting the paradigm, and how, and reflecting also on how their individual responsibilities are a big part of shifting that paradigm. And so it was really neat. And Zachary had many people from different backgrounds, different age groups, and people from different places around the US sharing their experiences. And I think one of the things I enjoyed most was a lot of the participants were like, oh yeah, we do have female leaders. Like, although they're not governor or, you know, lieutenant governor, or they're not all, you know, at the same level as Deb Holland, we have female leadership in our community. And without that, what is our community? And that's really where the discussion went. And so it was really, really powerful for everybody to chime in and share their experiences, their perspective, and in the end, their responsibility.
Nice. Yeah, kudos to you for hosting an event like that, Zachary. I think creating that space for the paradigm to shift is pretty remarkable. And I do think, I mean, over Zoom, you can bring in people from different places and you can create a space virtually. I mean, you must have done a lot to make people feel like they could trust you, that they could speak in that room and in that space. So you know, SHP, at least in my experience, is all about shifting paradigms. And so I feel like the whole model of education has shifted this year of necessity, but you students are a really good example of how you can take that seed and really make it grow and, you know, be shifting people's perspectives in a lot of different ways through your research. So thanks for what you guys have done. Thanks for your contributions and for the legacy that you're leaving for future students. I think they're going to be pretty excited to tune in May, and definitely to, you know, go back and study your work, and who knows what it will turn into for future students. You know, I can definitely see future students picking up on what you guys have started and really seeing where they can take it to. So thank you. Dr. Grimley, do you want to say, we're going to close here pretty soon, but other than kind of reminding folks, May 14th is our SHP. We hope folks can join us. Any kind of closing thoughts about this crazy year of teaching seniors and loving your seniors through graduation during COVID-19?
Well, I think one of the things that has really spoken to me this year is it truly does take a village. And I think that SHP in the design of the course and the curriculum really embraces that community-based education model. And it really shows our students that their funds of knowledge that they come to the table with as seniors, everything, their experiences and their passions are valid, and their voice is valid. And, you know, we want to continue to nurture that, as you said a few minutes ago. And, you know, these are just seeds. They're planting more seeds as they share their presentations, and our younger underclassmen see this. And it's really cool to be in this point of, I mean, SHP has been in existence for many years. And so it's really cool to be in this point as a teacher and a former SFIS student to see how much transformation has occurred. And it really makes you proud, and you can go to bed with a smile on your face. So I really enjoy that. And, you know, our seniors, this isn't how we want them to have their senior year, but it shows that there's a lot of things we've gone through historically as Indigenous people that we've persevered through, and we're continuing to show our strength in that. And our young adults, our young leaders are showing that today through their research and through their sharing their voices.
Indeed. A story of resilience for the ages, for sure. You guys are amazing. So yeah, thanks for closing us out with that. Thank you, Kylie. Thank you, Zachary. I wish you guys the best of luck on your presentations and the end of your senior year. And we will all see each other, or somehow, some way, we'll talk soon. Everybody stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.